Hello everybody, this is Dan Bigman. I am your GPR professor from LearnGPR.com, and today I'm coming at you with another video about what are bits and why are they important. This is something I never really thought about. This is something that I always related to video game playing, and I started playing video games back in the day. Like Atari was my first system. This might date me, by the way, but Atari was the first system that we had. Didn't have ColecoVision. But Nintendo came out, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, 64, and so forth. And that to me was always just like, all right, it's kind of a better image and maybe more realistic, although honestly up through GameCube it wasn't super realistic for me. But that's how I always thought about bits. Well, how do bits play a role in GPR data? Right? How do bits play a role in GPR information and the quality of information that you can actually record with your GPR? Different GPR systems have different bits, just like your game consoles have different bits through the years. And so this is something I didn't really know. But the last time I was in the UK, I was teaching a course. I had Mike Langdon, who's from Mala Geosystems, or from, I guess, GeoGuideline, I guess is what they're called now. But I was really lucky to have him in the course. Guy's smart guy, knowledgeable, been in the business for a long time, helped me understand a few things, and bits was one of them. So here's something that Mike Langdon taught me while I was in the UK. I'm bringing this up now because I'm going back to the UK in next week to do another course. It's been super successful over there. People got so much out of the first course that we're able to fill a second course just a few months later. So I am really excited about that. Go to LearnGPR.com and check out when our upcoming workshops are around the world, certainly in the US, in the UK, possibly elsewhere. So go check it out. All right. Bits. Why are they important? Well, here's how bits work. It's basically you have a GPR signal. Okay, so here's a response recorded by your GPR. Okay, that's a response. This is a one-dimensional view. Okay, right? That's a one-dimensional view. Some call it an A scan. Okay, so call it an A scan. But that's what this is. It's a one-dimensional view of GPR information. The goal is to record what we call the full waveform, right? How accurate is this from what actually occurred, hopefully below the ground surface, right? How accurate is it? How much does this amplitude really reflect the amount of energy that comes back? Well, it's going to be based in big part on the number of bits of your system. The lower the bit count, the less sensitive your system is. The higher the bit count, the more sensitive your system is. So the bits, in a sense, are like increments of counting. So let's take this first blip right here. Let's say that you're working with an 8-bit GPR system. Right? Here's 0, okay? 8-bit system. What does that mean? That means you're going to get 8 counting blocks from 0 out to the amplitude peak to assess it. So what do we mean here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 counting blocks in order to record this response. Okay, 8. So if you have a system that has 8 bits and your amplitude really, right, let's say it's out here, it can only count based on these. So let's say that your amplitude comes in a little bit. What's going to happen? Well, you can only visualize it by bit. Okay, you're limited to those blocks. So 8 bits is going to be how sensitive it can be. What if instead of 8 bits you had 16 bits, which is actually very common in modern GPR? 16 bits. Well, 13, 14, 15, 16. You see how much smaller the blocks are here, right? What does that mean? It means you have more sensitivity in recording the actual wave that's coming back to the ground surface. Okay, your GPR puts out the wave. It hopefully reflects off something of target of interest. When it comes back, you want to get as much detail with that wave, with the recording of it, as possible. Higher the bit count, the more sensitive in a sense your system is to visualize that response. That's what a bit is, and that's why it's important for GPR. Greater the bit count, greater the sensitivity, more accurate the waveform is when it's getting recorded. Okay, well, let's say you take this one. Find one down here. Okay, let's say that it's 32-bit. Okay, 32-bit. They got real small. And dot, 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 all the way out. Okay, 32. So you get much smaller blocks over here to image this response. All right, so that's the difference. So you have 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. There are GPR that have that have 64-bit. Okay, so 64-bit. And I don't know if there's one that has 128-bit yet. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. Okay, the point is, here's what you have in a sense available. Okay, so here, from my childhood then, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and Atari. Okay, that's 8-bit. 16-bit. Okay, 16-bit, we're talking about Super Nintendo, just kidding. Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx 16. Okay, that'll bring somebody back. If you've ever heard of TurboGrafx 16 before, I want to know in the comments below if you've ever heard of it. Okay, that's 16-bit. 32-bit. Not many. So you had a hybrid 32-bit, which was called Neo Geo. And this thing was like impossible to get when I was growing up. If you've ever heard of Neo Geo, let me know in the comments below. You ever heard of Neo Geo? I want to know that you heard of Neo Geo. I'm still upset at you, Neil Levin, for not giving me a Neo Geo when you had one. I will take that to my grave. Anyway, and what else? PS1, okay, 32-bit. What else? That's it. 64-bit. Nintendo 64. I believe Xbox. 128-bit. Nintendo GameCube. And PS2. So, that's the difference. This is, you have an 8-bit GPR system, you're playing with Atari. Okay? That's what you're playing with. You're playing with Atari. You have a 16-bit system, you're playing with Super Nintendo and Genesis over here. Got a 32-bit system. Now you're doing pretty good. PlayStation number 1. Okay, PlayStation number 1. There are 64-bit instruments out there now. And you're playing with a 64-bit system, you're playing with Nintendo. Somebody feel free to fact check me on this, okay? Fact check Dan on the Xbox. If I'm wrong on the Xbox and it's not 64-bit, if it's 32-bit or 128, put in the comments below that I'm wrong, okay? I would appreciate it. Let me know. I'm happy to have the hate. So I hope this is helpful. I never understood bits until Mike Langdon drew this out for me in a similar way. Of course, I put my own GPR professor spin on it, but I hope this was helpful. If somebody else that you know has no idea what bits are and how they relate to GPR, then please share this video with them. Go to LearnGPR.com, put your name and email address in. I'll send you videos every single week that are free and helpful. And of course, please subscribe to the channel or like the page. It would mean the world to me. I'm just out there trying to help people become better GPR professionals. So I wish you the best. Good luck.